take a look at Morning Joe. So Morning Joe, if you're not familiar, so this is Joe and his wife, I believe, Mika, and they have been tarnishing Donald Trump's name, I want to say, for the last 7 years. Now, they used to be Republicans. But then I don't know what happened. Who knows? But they ended up moving to the Democratic side, trashing Trump for the last 7, 8 years. And then all of a sudden it comes out that, oh, well, we went and visited him in Mar-a-Lago. And it's just like a lot of thoughts on it. But let's get into it. You guys will give me your thoughts as well. I'll try to keep up with the chat as much as I possibly can. And damn, Mark is already snowed in. Winter is coming. And before we even start, so Mark said Trump is not H, but Joe is a warmonger or is the face of them. He might have started a world war, and Russia never goes away quietly. Oh, I didn't even mention. Yeah, I feel like that's the last video that I just took a look at. Where we're going to actually finish up talking about what's going on with Russia and Ukraine. Like, what is really going on? And all of this is just that should actually be under the category, because I told y'all we got this new category that we're starting off with. I guess Trump wasn't Hitler. That's the name of the category. I should put it on the bottom of the screen, but maybe next time I will. I guess Trump wasn't Hitler. I think we're having an awakening right now. But let's get into this video, and I would love to hear y'all thoughts. So keep the chat buzzing, and I'll try to read as many comments as I can.
Well, how the worm turns. Morning Joe's Joe Scarborough and Mika Brzezinski took a trip to Florida on Friday. You guessed it, they went to kiss the ring at Mar-a-Lago. And they told their audiences this morning the duo had a personal sit-down with Donald Trump. Let's watch.
Joe and I went to Mar-a-Lago to meet personally with President-elect Trump. It was the first time we have seen him in 7 years.
Now, we talked about a lot of issues, including abortion, mass deportation, threats of political retribution against political opponents, and media outlets. We talked about that a good bit. And it's going to come as no surprise to anybody who watches this show, has watched it over the past year or over the past decade, that we didn't see eye to eye on a lot of issues, and we told him so.
It's been 7 years since the two MSNBC.
First and foremost, hold up. Y'all don't just get to do this. Now, I actually don't have a problem. I do not have a problem at all with Joe and Mika going to visit Trump. I don't have a problem. I don't think that we need to be ops. I don't think we need to be at war. I don't think it needs to be they lost, I'm not speaking to them for the next 4 years. I don't think it needs to be that. However, I also don't think it needs to be y'all calling him Hitler, y'all calling him a fascist, y'all calling him a threat to democracy, leading the Nazis, all these different things. I don't think that it needs to be that in the beginning. And if you're going to be that in the beginning, then it's very hard for me now to just see you. I mean, he's not even back in office. I mean, the election was 2 weeks ago. And already you went from not speaking to him for 7, 8 years, except after Joe called him, after he got shot in the ear, to now going down there and kissing the ring, just like Robbie said. To me, it just shows opportunist. Like, that's what it just screams. It screams desperate. It screams my ratings are dropping. It screams this liberal thing is not working for us over here. It screams we may be let go soon, and our only home may be the Republican, or maybe a Republican network. Or because anybody could just see that all of the progressive liberal stations, it's not landing. People are not watching that content anymore. People would rather go on YouTube. Fox, they're going to have their base. People are going to go on Fox. But because the liberals on CNN and on MSNBC have been spewing this, just like they accuse Trump of saying all this hyperbole stuff, that's what they do. And they fell in love with this culture, this woke culture that pushes something that the majority, 99% of your own party doesn't even agree with. Those are the things that you're pushing, and they realize that they back themselves into a corner and they need Trump to get them out. Let's keep going.
ABC anchor spoke to the president-elect, although Joe Scarborough did reach out after the first assassination attempt.
But let me ask y'all this. Are y'all okay with them meeting? And I didn't even finish making the point that I was going to make. It should not have been all the Hitler crazy rhetoric, and then of course you go meet with the opposition. Why wouldn't you go sit down with them? But it's just when it becomes so toxic, and maybe this is a maturity mindset with me, because I can remember going back to when Trump, this is when I hated Trump, when Trump was first started to run, and I remember he invited Steve Harvey and I think it was, who was it, Joe Brown? No, not Joe, definitely wasn't Judge Joe Brown. My apologies for that, Judge Joe Brown. I think it was Steve Harvey and who's the Jim Brown? I'm about to say, who's the football player? And Jim Brown. And I'm sitting here like, yo, Steve Harvey, he's cooning for even going to meet with him. I do think that Steve Harvey was cooning. However, and not for meeting with him, but for you going to meet with him. Why are you bringing a comedian and a football player? Like, maybe Steve Harvey should have brought maybe somebody that was a little bit more qualified to have a real conversation with Trump, to understand what he was looking to do with whatever community. It doesn't have to necessarily just be with the black community. It doesn't need just black people talking about the black community, but to discuss things. Steve Harvey is not the guy. Steve Harvey's not the guy. He should use his celebrity influence to bring somebody like a Tom Sowell to actually understand what Trump's plans are, and whether or not Steve Harvey and whoever he brings can actually add something to it. Bring Ice Cube. Like, leave those other guys at home, in my opinion.
This summer against Trump in Butler, Pennsylvania. So, is this hypocrisy? Let's listen.
For those asking why we would go speak to the president-elect during such fraught times, especially between us, I guess I would ask back, why wouldn't we? 5 years of political warfare has deeply divided Washington and the country. We have been as clear as we know how in expressing our deep concerns about President Trump's actions and words in the coarsening of public debate. But for nearly 80 million Americans, election denialism, public trials, and January 6th were not as important as the issues that moved them to send Donald Trump back to the White House with their vote.
I got a question for y'all. Thanksgiving is next week, right? I guarantee you there's going to be a whole lot of fights at Thanksgiving just based on politics. And this is why we all have to realize, and I can't wait to get to the end of the show where we're going to get some advice from Uncle Abe, Abraham Lincoln, on this exact thing. However, Thanksgiving, there's going to be a lot of fights over who voted for Donald Trump, who voted for Kamala, who didn't vote, and whatever else. How are we fighting with our family, fighting with our friends, caring more about politicians? How are we caring more than the people that got us riled up, that boosted us? It's like you know, you see somebody amping up a fight. They're amping up a fight for y'all just so they can sit back and enjoy it. Meanwhile, they're not even really, it's not even that serious for the people that are making it, for making you feel like it's serious. They're making you mad, and they're not even really mad. People are furious right now if you tell them that you voted for Trump. But they're going down there to just go hang out with him. Like, it's nothing. Yeah, we talked. It's all good. They've been talking about Trump in the worst ways for the last 7-8 years. And Mark, I think Mark wrote it. Maybe Trump's just, keeping his enemies close. I agree. I'm not even upset with Trump. However, they've been talking about this man terribly for the last 8 years. Got a lot of people, Democrats and liberals, that watch Morning Joe looking at Trump like he's the worst person in the world. The worst person in the world, right? Hitlerish or Hitler. And now they just go sit down with him. But we can't sit down with our cousins. We can't sit down with our family. We can't sit down with our friends and just say, oh, yeah, we disagree on this issue, but it's all good. We could let's have a beverage. We got duped. And I hope that a lot of Democrats and liberals are feeling like you got duped. Not so people that did not vote Democrat can put it in your face and say, I told you so, but so you can grow. And so you can start to see that these people that tried to convince you something, they sold you on something that wasn't real. They sold you on something that they didn't even believe in. They were the used car salesman that told you that the car is good. It's got its Carfax. It's all good. And it didn't. They sold you saying that this Ford is the best car. Meanwhile, they're riding around in a Toyota. That's what happened. Let's keep going.
Joe and I realize it's time to do something different. And that starts with not only talking about Donald Trump, but also talking with him.
Conservatives are having a field day with this. Buck Sexton tweets, Trump's victory is so complete. Morning Joe is fully surrendered. And then, some people on the left are making fun of them too. My friend Ryan Grimm, who used to co-host the show. Let me find his tweet. He tweeted, I'm not going to be able to find it so quickly. Calling them basically Russian, playing into the Russians.
Tim Waltz's daughter went days without showering and brushing her teeth and doing her skincare routine. Morning Joe. They just went and had some drinks, had some lunch with Trump. There's a difference. And I don't even know which is worse. I'll be totally honest. The people that really say that Trump is Hitler and he's the threat to democracy, if you really believe that and you're still standing on it right now, I think that you are wrong. I think that you're wrong. Let me be very clear. But there's something about it that makes me respect you guys a lot more than the people that were trying to sell us on it, saying that Trump is all these things. And then as soon as he wins, it's like, oh, nah, we're good. It's just a little political sparring. Like, what? No. You breaking up families. Now, shame on the families, because the families shouldn't be dumb enough to allow politicians to impact their relationships with each other. But you know that the mob is fickle. That's how it goes. That's exactly how it goes. So how do y'all feel about it? It feels good being on this side because I feel like people are kind of waking up to it. So maybe this is a good thing. Maybe this is what people need. And once again, I want to make it very clear. I have no issue with what they did if they weren't saying all the things for 7-8 years about Trump that they were saying.
The Never Trump operatives have actually been Republicans all along, making fun of that kind of conspiratorial thinking. I thought it was pretty funny. I tweeted the Avengers gif where Captain America leans into the Hydra people and says, "Hail Hydra," pretending to be one of them. But is this actually hypocritical? I don't know. I've been unrelentingly critical of the Biden administration. If Biden invited me to meet with him, I would absolutely meet with him.
I mean, I think it is hypocritical. I know I'm saying
Good.
It's like, I can't believe I have to defend this or try to defend.
Oh, you don't have to, right?
No,
whatever you want.
It's hypocritical. It's only hypocritical based on the things that they were saying leading up to it. It just is what it is. Now, I still think that it was a smart move by them. I think that they are probably doing what other people are going to be forced to do. They are very smart. See, and that's the thing. I think this is the problem with looking at a lot of these political experts and analysts as if they know everything. Morning Joe, in my opinion, and Mika, they did what was best for their pockets. That's it. Just like they thought that selling you on a lie was best for their pockets. So they're going to look out for themselves. All right, let's move on to the next one. So we got Charles Barkley. So Charles Barkley, like I said, may have given us the best advice that I've seen on here so far.
It's Dak. Just want to thank you for checking out our video and visiting the OG Network. If you enjoyed the video, please make sure that you give us a like. And if you're looking to join a community of inspired individuals striving for purposeful abundance, subscribe. And if you're feeling real generous, share the video with some friends and family. All right, I'll see y'all soon.